good night, everyone. Tonight, God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma Jill Spiritual Divine. I'm here to give y'all a little short news on tonight. First I'm gonna start with with City Hall. Our Contrell, Latoya Contrell, consent degree policy. We're gonna start with consent degree policy. You know, they want to end the consent degree policy for New Orleans department. You know, they want to end it. And then you have Landry. He agreed with Latoya Contract. He agreed with her that it should be terminated. Now he also filed legal brief supporting the motion to terminate the consent decree. You know, because applying the consent decree perspective is no longer equitable. You know, so Lander said there is much work to be restored for New Orleans. You know, he's saying in the consent decree would be extremely start. It'll be the start. You know, so they also said the public bureau to uphold discipline action that many officers see what they think on why officers are leaving the force in record numbers, you know, because a lot of police are leaving, you know, it's short of officers right now. You know, so it also saying a consent decree handcuff our officer. Um, what made some of the officer leave with punishment that some of the officer was getting. You know, so the United States District, you know, judge will consider the city motion to end the consent um, degree is unknown. You know, so one that I have, y'all want to end the consent degree, you know, and I just disagree. Two, equitable. You feel like it's not favorable on your end. You know, that you all think this policy is not equal or treatment, you know, and I disagree because it's supposed to protect the people of the community and improve the safety and security of the people. You know, so three, Landry stated there work to be done, you know, and that's why he's saying the policy should end, and that should be the first step. You know, yes, it should. Yes, it will be a lot of work. A lot of work still need to be done. You know, a lot of improvement still need to be done. You know, and it can get better. You know, it will be first. He said it will be the first step. I disagree because yes, there is work need to be done. It should have to be handled in a better manner, you know, and the police can do better in protecting the people of America. You know, so far there was a discipline action with officers that we have had all kind of issues and where it was not favored with the officer, but it was also against the people of America that was not protected in many issues. You know, so yes, many officers had left due to these issues. You know, they had all kind of issues that had went on this year and last year. You know, where a lot of officers had left the force. You know, because they didn't want it to be upon them. You know, so why does NOPD have a consent decree policy? Okay, so the policy is supposed to parties that believe that the consent decree will help protect the constitution rights of all the members of the community. You know, it's supposed to improve the safety and the security of the people of New Orleans, you know, and increase public confidence in the department. So this policy here is supposed to protect the people of America, the people in New Orleans. It's supposed to protect and it's supposed to have the people in the communities to feel confidence of this policy, that the police will do what is said in this policy. This policy is the officer's supposed to do what this policy says. It's supposed to protect the constitutional rights of all members of the community. It's supposed to improve the safety, and the security of the people in New Orleans. Increase the public confidence. They're supposed to give the people of the community confidence. Okay, that our police department is gonna handle this. They're gonna protect us. They're gonna do this and they're gonna do that. That was this policy for, to have the people of the public to feel confidence of this policy. So I disagree, and I request that this consent decree policy remain. Because this policy here is really supposed to protect the people of the community in New Orleans. With any issue, anything that goes down, this policy is supposed to have those issues. Because the people in the community, they're supposed to feel confidence. That they have this policy, that the officers gonna do what they say in this policy, protect. So I disagree, and I request that this consent decree policy remain. Okay. Okay. So now we're gonna talk about the hurricane. Fiona finally made landfall. It made landfall today around about 3:20 this afternoon. So Hurricane Fiona bring Category 1 Floyd power outage to Puerto Rico. Intensifying hurricane phenomenon is bringing heavy rain, high winds, and so power had been knocked out to the entire island. So the storm is dumping more than 2 feet of rain in Puerto Rico. In NHC warned hurricane force winds that have taken out the island fatal power grid. So it took out the island. And it made landfall. Remember, last week it was quiet. That's why I told you don't get too comfortable, because the quietness, it can always be disturbing, roll over a whole nother way. So phenomenon made landfall near Palo Tacoma on the island. So southeastern coast arrived at 3:20. So the landfall had felt like by 3:20 this afternoon. Winds of 85 miles per hour. Phenomenon is a Category 1 hurricane and expected to remain through the landfall in Puerto Rico. Phenomenal landfall, tropical storm forecast. President Bennett had declared a federal disaster for Puerto Rico, mobilizing the delivering of aid to the island. So nearly the entire island was under a flash flood warning as of 5 miles at 5 p.m. So phenomenon made landfall. Made landfall today on that island, Puerto Rico, made landfall. So Mr. President, he declared for federal disaster, for the island, and that's good. That's good. So they will be getting help for the damages, and they also have power outage. That's phenomenal. Finally, she made landfall. With heavy winds and flood. You know, so that you want to talk about Ronald Martin unfiltered. He stated that former FCMO department arrested, for assaulting a black women immigrant requested black station, retirement, Kansas City homicide detective get arrested, by federal authorized for kidnapping and a sexual assault of two women. Now this happened 20 years ago. 20 years ago, but he just not getting arrested. So I don't know why it took 20 years for him to get arrested for kidnapping and sexual assault. You know, he said he stated that he will find out why it took so long. You know, for this officer to get charged. You know, he was an officer, so it took 20 years for him to get charged for this kind of assault. You know, so the detective get arrested, and he was arrested for assaulting a black woman 20 years ago. Don't know why it took so long, but I'm glad justice has been done. But don't know why justice got done after 20 years. But we glad it has been done. Justice should have been done at that moment, you know, but instead it would come to be a cold case up until now, you know. So we talked about the consent decree policy. We talk about the consent decree policy. You know, I request for it to remain because this policy depend on to people of the community. You know, for what issues that go on. You know, issues that go on that will protect them. You know, because in the policy say believe that the consent decree will help protect the constitutional rights of all members of the community, you know, improves the safety and the security of the people of New Orleans, you know, increase public confidence in the police department. You know, so this policy here supposed to protect them in any issue. You know, it's supposed to improve safety and security, and it also supposed to they're supposed to have confidence in this policy that the police department will take care of them, you know, will protect them, you know, with any issue that occur, that the police department supposed to protect them, you know, and they're supposed to feel confidence in this policy, you know. So I had disagree and I request that this policy remain for the safety of the people of the community, you know. So we also talk about Fiona Hurricane made landfall by 3:20 this evening in Puerto Rico on that island. Tore the island up. They say it had so much damage and power outage. You know, so it was going in fast speed and it made landfall. You know, so and we also talk about Rolling Martin Unfiltered. Now he said a case that happened like 20 years ago, you know, for a kidnap and sexual assault two women. You know, we don't know why it took so long to investigate. You know, it was a cold case up until now. You know, so I don't know if the clues of the investigation, and it just got, you know, evidence of what had happened, but we don't know why it took 20 years. You know, and he was a detective. You know, had got arrested for assaulting women. You know, 20 years ago, kidnapped. You know, so we glad justice finally had got solved. You know, the cold case, you know, stood open or either it was closed or open, but they finally got to it 20 years later. You know, so the degree, the consent degree policy should remain. You know, to protect the people of the community. Um, That's all the show news I have for you today. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.